Welcome back to the channel, and yeah, OP Outdoors. And usually I do a lot of fishing on this channel, but I've been wanting to change things up a little bit on the channel, do some different things. And one of the things that I want to start doing is foraging, and right now is the time of year for foraging out here in East Tennessee. So today I'm going to go look for some mushrooms, and we're going to do a forage and cook. It's different from a catch and cook because these things aren't alive in a sense, but they are alive in another sense. So hopefully we'll get in on some chanterelles. That's the goal. Mushroom, the yellow, golden, beautiful, delicious mushroom of the chanterelle variety, but also maybe some boletes or anything else that we can find that's edible. I do have a book that tells me what's edible and what's not edible with me. I have the PDF, really. I don't have the book on me, but I have it in my phone. And yeah, just getting to the spot now in the next few seconds, and we'll get into the woods and go look for some delicious mushrooms. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. If you're not a big fan of mushrooms, then sorry, I don't know what you're doing, but you're missing out. And just realizing my hat is quite dirty. This is my do everything with hat. All right, so I'm fairly new to mushroom foraging, and I get all my information about mushrooms from my daughter, who is I'm gonna call her a mushroom expert. She wouldn't say that. Maybe she would. Who knows? But she's just the person that I know that knows the most about mushrooms. So between her and ChatGPT, I get all my mushroom information. So it's ideal conditions right now in East Tennessee for a few specific mushrooms, chanterelles right now, and then boletes or everything else. I'm already looking at our first mushroom here. All right. And I don't exactly know what this is. As always with mushrooms, it's like, it could be this one or it could be this other one. But these are looking like either false chanterelles, and they're pretty wet. So they'll be dead soon. You can see they're just falling apart. Sorry about that. You can just see this one's holding up a little bit better. But just judging from the bottom here and this fiber here, it's either a rusula or a false chanterelle. Either way, they're not edible, so we'll leave that one for the animals. But there it is. There's our first mushroom. And I just got on the trailhead. Literally, there's the sign that walks you right in. And here's our first welcoming committee. All right, I spotted another mushroom here. I'm actually going to go ahead and pick this guy off. All right, I don't know what this guy is. All right, it can be a few different kind of mushrooms. It is real small, so. But there's another one, and now here is a bunch of other mushrooms, along with that little one that I just found. All right, there's that little guy, and then here's a bunch of these guys coming off of the stem. Now these look like chanterelles, but I don't think they're chanterelles at all. They're growing off of a piece of wood, and the stems are way different from a chanterelle. So they're all wet and probably not edible, and unless I know exactly what the mushroom is, I won't be eating it. All right, let's keep on going. All right, here's another little dude right here. Don't know what that is as well. I think actually that one is edible, just from the list that I was looking at, but doesn't look healthy wise. Yeah, I believe we found some absolutely awesome chanterelles. Yeah. All right, let me cut these nice. Yes. All right. Undoubtedly, these are chanterelles. And, you know, they say the smaller ones are actually better than the bigger ones. So that's great. For sure, these are great chanterelles. Look at that. They're super healthy too. So easy to spot. It's, you know, just looking down on the ground, this bright yellow mushrooms just sticking out. I thought it was a leaf at first, but then I was like, nah. And it seems like there's no more coming out of here. Sweet! Official! Found us a shanty. All right, now that I've found those chanterelles, I'm almost 100% positive the first ones that I found are not chanterelles. And I think I see a whole batch of chanterelles right over there. Yeah. Let's see here. No, see, these are the other style. See, these are growing out of that piece of wood. So I'm not gonna collect any more of these. But they really look like chanterelles. And then the false chanterelles, they should be orange. It's just wild. All right, I'm not gonna disturb these. They just look too happy. But they also look amazing. Look how cool those are. Look at that color. I have to look those up. Should be easy to identify. These are probably false chanterelles. They're orange. All right, just saw a couple of foragers and they told me that in that direction they just saw some chanterelles that they left. But here I found some more. And go ahead and grab those. That's awesome. There we go. Nice. While they're small, they are still delicious. And I'm told the smaller ones are better than the bigger ones. All right, I think we've got another chanterelle here. Yes. Yes. All right, definitely. Yeah, there's another chanterelle. It's not the healthiest looking one, but it'll do. All right, doing all right so far as chanterelles go. We got enough for a sandwich. And I believe there's a couple more right here. Oh, there's one. That's a nice one. Right here. Sweet. Let's go ahead and chop this girl, clean it out. There we are. Nice. Sweet. Keep looking. This might be a solid area. There's a couple more little ones that I just walked by. Oh yeah, right here. But they're too small. I'm not going to bother with those. I thought I just saw two more. Ah, here's. I'll take the bigger one of these two. Here's the other one. There we go. All right. Pretty good haul so far. All right, I do have a little bit of rain coming down now, and you know, it's honestly one of the reasons why I kind of haven't been making a lot of fishing videos here from East Tennessee. It's just been pouring down rain, and the inconsistency of the water. Murky, and then it's good again. I think I see some mushrooms over there. This might be those false ones. It's just making fishing a little bit difficult, you know. It is season for bluegill, so I'll start to go after some bluegill, which I did well the other day. Didn't record it. As always, anytime I take the camera to record, I catch no fish. And then when I don't have the camera, then that's when I catch fish. But yeah, it's just been very inconsistent as far as fishing is going, and the rain. But flip side is the rain and the sunshine. The rain, the sunshine, and that kind of inconsistency of the weather has made it so that mushrooms are now growing fairly well. It's been a really rainy year. Wet season was big time this year. It hasn't even ended, so it's been very beneficial to the growth of mushrooms. So that's a good thing. There's a trail here. I'm going to get out to it and then start walking up, but I do got to head back that way. That was this perimeter that I'm going around. All right, I got a good overview here. I'm starting to see some yellow everywhere, but you know, as always. Oh, this tree's kind of cool. And oh, here we go. Nice. Just found a bunch. Sweet. Now, this one already looks like it got damaged. So I'll pick these up and then I'll cut the rest out. There's that one. Let's take this little one as well. And this bigger one. Nice. Beautiful. Sweet. Something must have been trampling through here. I didn't walk through here. Looks like there's a couple of other mushrooms growing over there. Interesting looking. I'm gonna give this area a little bit of a walkthrough. I just found that log tree right there falling. I thought it was cool. Almost looks like a canoe that you can carve out. All right, there's the trail. Right when I was about to get on the trail, guess who I find? A couple of shanties. Pinch that one, pinch that one. All right, I'll leave some of those smaller ones. All right, so we got a good handful. I'll get these all cleaned up. Just take my knife and scrape off the dirt. But nice haul here. There's another cool mushroom right there. I don't know what this is here. You know, there are some of these that are edible. I don't know what that is specifically. But here, I'll get a good shot and I'll identify it. All right, I've definitely been trying to get back on the trail, but started to come up this hill. And here we are. A couple more chanterelles. And looks like there might be some more over there. Can't tell, I see some yellow. I'll walk around this area. This is a nice inclined hill. Probably gets good sun during the morning hours. And here are a couple of beauties. There, and make sure I don't get that other one. There we go. Sweet. And there's a couple more here. Those are kind of tiny. I'll leave those alone. There's a couple there. This whole area seems to have... Oh, there's a good one right over there. Whoops. Right there. I'm gonna go grab that one now. I seem to be in a pretty good area for them. Here's another one right here. And I got this one right there. Very exciting to see. Leave that little one right next to it.
little bit bigger. There's a couple more here. I'll leave those alone, let them grow. I'll come get this one. There we go. I'll leave this stem, that's all good. Sweet. These are absolutely delicious mushrooms. There's another cool mushroom over there. A lot of cool mushrooms in this area. But I'm gonna keep looking. I bet there's a bunch more chanterelles here. All right, I see some bright orange back there. And I'm gonna go get my bag's over there. And I just don't wanna get kind of lost. But I think I'm spotting some over here. Yeah. Yes, here we go. Nice little batch. All right, got a nice one right here. Go ahead and get my knife. There we go. Beautiful one. Darn near perfect. Here's a couple more. There we go. All right, these are darn near perfect. All right, I'm almost getting to the point where I think I have enough. Is there any more this way? Like this view here. Oh, these are great. Beautiful. Just perfect. Nice. A nice one. I think there's one right over there. I think there's one down there. And there's a great one right here. All right, we'll cut that off of it here in a second. I'll just get all of them. Collect the ones I'm going to take. There's a nice one. Oh, this is a big one. Oh, it's beautiful chanterelle. Look at that guy. Let's give you about the size of my hand there. All right, these little tiny orange ones again. Kind of cool. Those aren't chanterelles. I think I see one down there as well. And this looks like a game trail. Right here. Which is cool. Let me go ahead and take that piece off of it. There we go. All right, let's go get that other one. Oh, here's another nice batch right here. Sweet. Oh, here's a couple great ones. over there is the other one too. I see some more down there. All right, let's go get my bag. So might just have to collect and pack them in the bag as we go.
All right, I'm back at home and just doing a little cleaning. These are the clean ones, and these are the ones that still have a little bit of dirt on them. All you need is a paper towel and then a knife just to sort of scrape things off, and you should be able to get all the dirt off of them, or any kind of moisture buildup that you think you want to get rid of. But like for me, that one's perfect. You know, this one looks good as well. You can always scrape it too with your hands. And I'm not like obsessive about a super clean mushroom, especially if I'm foraging these from the forest. It is what it is. I don't mind eating a little bit of dirt, honestly. Some people are a little bit more finicky with things like that, but these are all looking good to me. And we'll be done in a little bit, and then we'll get a snack going. All right, guys, it's the next day, actually the next morning, 10:44 a.m. It's about time for some breakfast. And why not noodles from Momofuku, David Chang's noodles, and some chanterelles. I got some shallots here chopped up. This might look like a lot, but they will reduce down, and just for prep purposes, I sort of take the bigger ones and just kind of slice them in half, maybe into quarters. All depends. It's up to you. You can definitely leave them whole, doesn't matter. But I'll show you a quick recipe here. I got some water boiling. I'll throw those noodles in there. They take about 3-4 minutes. And then I'm going to saute these guys with some butter and shallots. Come with a couple of these whole pieces, and you'll see this, like I said, this looks like a lot, but it does reduce down fairly good. And just to show you how I store these, you want to put them in the fridge and wrap them with paper, and I usually will change it out every other day. These are doing pretty good, and then you want to make sure you don't seal this up because it'll create moisture in there. So I just leave it wide open in the fridge. And I have another bag here as well. I've got 2 bags, and plus the one I just pulled that out of. And we'll need a little bit of Kerrygold butter. And that'll be our setup. And I'll add a little olive oil just to help the butter out. The only seasoning you're going to need is a little bit of sea salt. Alright, let's dump the shallots in. Alright, kind of quiet right now, so we'll wait for that to start to sizzle. And once these start to sizzle, that's when I'll get in there with the chanterelles. Alright, do not want to overcook the noodles. I'll run some cold water in the noodles just to stop the cooking process. Alright, just leave that there. So let's plop these in. And you know, this is good, like I said, it's going to reduce down pretty good. But you know, this is also a healthy portion. why not, you know? I got plenty. Let's get a little salt on that. There we go. All right, let's do a little flip action. Now, one thing that I am going to add to this, because I absolutely love it, is a little bit of spicy chili crisps. They add a great taste to this, and about that much is great. And you don't have to use that. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. Noodles in. And now we'll get a little flip action. Not too crazy because I'm not an expert at that. And let the noodles cook in here a little bit. I'm just going to add a touch of water. That'll sauce it up just a little bit. We'll add one more sprinkle of salt for the noodles, not too much. And now I'm going to let the water reduce down just a little bit. It's starting to reduce down just perfectly. And the thing with the water is the noodles will absorb it, so you'll start to get like the flavor of the chanterelles and shallots going into the noodle. That's why I add the water. But like I said, any liquid will do. You can use soy sauce, you can use anything you want. And there you have it, folks. A beautiful dish of noodles and shanties. Now, one last thing that I'm going to add to this, just to gild the lily, as they say, is a little bit of this seasoning. It's rice seasoning, but it's just like kelp and some stuff. And I absolutely love this stuff. And there you have it. A absolutely amazing bowl of chanterelles, noodles, and some kelp. This is a very, very, very healthy meal. At the end of the day, one of the best breakfasts you can have, I think. All right, here we have it, the bowl. Of course, I have to do the old taste test in front of the camera. If not, what did you even do? Oh, and this is going to be yums. Got a couple of chanterelles there. Got some noodle. This bad boy is hot. Mmm. Oh man. Everything just smacks you in the face. Get some butter, get some chanterelles, get some of the chili crisps. Again, if you don't want to use that, that's cool. Got some steam on my glasses, just to show you chanterelle action right there. Ooh, this is gonna be all right, so thank you for watching. This is not fishing, but it is still getting out in nature and doing a little bit of foraging, harvesting some food from the outdoors, sustainable and all that good stuff. And catch you on the next one. Thanks again, guys.